talk to Shani anytime. It doesn't matter day or night, but Shani, giving you light and love. We're coming on without a doubt. There's nothing you can't talk about, Shani. Get ready to start the show. You're with Shani and you know we're gonna talk. Ordinary people and extraordinary God. Check the reference in Ephesians 5. We walking in the light and we're living in love. You know what, Shani, we gon' keep it intact. Cause every Monday got it coming, yeah, we coming right that. So act like you know we get it on and poppin' at the Shani Show. You can talk to Shani anytime. It doesn't matter day or night, Shani. We're giving you light and love. We're coming on without a doubt. There's nothing you can talk about with Shani. Welcome to another episode of the Sharing with Shani show. We are just barreling through 2021. I'm still like trying to figure out how we're like a month away from Thanksgiving. Like, Mika, it was just January. How?
I just where did October go?
Yeah.
October 18th. I don't get it.
It's just too like what?
October has flown by.
Yeah, I was just at the beach. That's
You
how
were
I feel.
yes, you were just at the beach. That's how I feel. Like I was just watching. I was just living here through you at the beach, right?
That's
Like
so funny. Yeah.
so, I'm excited. I like April, and I forgot to ask her. Do I pronounce the E? We were having this debate last week.
She said 4.
She
It's
did say
4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she
4.
did. April 4 is in her building. She's not in the building. On vacation, no less. Hey, I just want to. I'm always grateful and thankful for people who take a time to come on a Monday night. Mondays are hard. I get that. I've been hearing it for 6 years, but Mondays work for me. I mean, you know, it worked. They work. It's at the end of the week. Like I feel like the wellness whisper, the tone for how we should be living, because you know Jesus wouldn't want us to live any other kind of way.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get sometimes that Mondays is hard for people, and I appreciate when people take the time out to come on this show, because our special guests make the show, and I'm grateful. So thank you, April, for coming on tonight, and we're just going to get started. Mika, how was your week?
Challenging and a little rough and not favorable. Doesn't feel favorable. It probably is, but decisions were made. And yes, I'm speaking very vaguely because I'm not allowed to go into detail, but I'll have to resign from my position on the 29th. And I found out on Friday. I remember saying like earlier before I found out, like, I hope my manager don't call me and tell me the decision is it. Like, don't ruin my weekend. But then actually I was glad because, you know, weekends, we ball out on weekends. So I got to save my coin a little bit more. So yeah, it was challenging, emotional, and not the weekend itself wasn't long enough, but you know, here we are, made it to Monday.
Well, I'm gonna keep you in prayer, Mika.
Thank you.
I feel like, you know, sometimes when doors close, greater doors open.
So here's the feeling behind it's not a surprise, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And it's something that I think it's really just, I know I'm gonna be uncomfortable and I don't want to be because I'm tired of being uncomfortable. Right. So it's not a surprise. And I remember, and this is, you know, remember I started in the beginning of October talking about faith, right? Standing in faith. And I shared then that came from a very personal space. And so when you understand how your decisions affect your life. And if you feel like you're doing that because that's how you've been moved to do it, then I personally believe you got to stand in that. You got to stand by it, stand in the faith, and the creator will get you through. So in making the decision, I knew that the outcome could definitely be this way. But that didn't save me from being annoyed either. You know, I think it was probably also the process of it was super ugly and without compassion. And so I think maybe that is more so, you know, contributing to how I feel about it. But it's like one of the things that I said to myself, even before they came back with their decision, was just, I've been here before, you know, I've been unemployed before. What's different, you know, now than back then, you know, just kind of all those things. Yeah, I just feel annoyed. Just really do. I feel annoyed because it felt like we were climbing, and maybe we still are, but it feels like I've been kind of knocked down a level. So what I've been praying for personally is like just not leaning to my own understanding, because that's super important. Because I can think my way out of a blessing real easy. Like intelligence is not always good in the spirit realm. Be a little too smart.
Yes.
So yeah, I just had to, you know what, Lord, help me with, you know, your understanding. I don't want to understand it my way because that's not helping me, right? It's not doing anything but causing me to be upset and confused, you know, feeling hurt, feeling let down, disappointed, discouraged. I don't want to feel none of those things because that's not what the promise was. So it's just, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, when have we, I think one that is listening and has had to have that prayer with themselves of lean not to your own understanding. Especially people that know a lot of things, right? Like smart people, you know, like we're all capable people, right? According that, you know, God made us that way. So, but you know, when there's this I like to say for I know I'm choppy. I've been choppy since 7:45. I don't know why. April told me I'm choppy. I don't know, but we gonna pray through the choppiness.
Okay.
I don't know
Slow
what
it down
do.
a little bit. Slow it down and put some space in between.
Okay.
Yeah. That way we can catch up.
I feel like we've all played this with the spiritual and the natural, right? What we know in the natural and how we process things in the natural, because, you know, because experience, education, all those things play into a factor, but it's just got to work in the spiritual. Yeah. You gotta sit in the spiritual. You gotta sit in whatever God is in the spirit trying to work out in the natural. And we gotta trust. I think that's what that scripture is talking about. Lean not to our own understanding, because there's a lot of things in the spiritual we don't know.
Oh yeah. I feel like we only know 1%.
Yes.
For real, I do. There's so much going on. And just an understanding that the spirit realm is active 24/7, first of all, right? Like even when you look at it on that level, that tells me there's a lot that I don't know, a lot that I could never understand. So yeah, it's definitely a faith stretcher.
Absolutely.
I think when one feels like they received an answer and then things start happening that don't really line up with that answer, that vision, that plan, you're like, wait a minute now. Did I hear what I thought I heard? Okay, you know.
Yeah.
So the challenge for me is to not go into that logical analytical space that feels so very good for me, because that's what I'm great at. And like you said, just exist in the spirit realm. That takes work though. That is a lot for me personally, right? That means I have to be extremely intentional about everything moving forward, right? Like I got to move different, I have to speak different, I have to think different, I have to say, so I have to like verbally prompt myself like, nope, this is not about logic. Okay, we're operating on principalities, and that's very different. So that's where we are. That's where we are.
So going back to last week's whisper, which
Yes.
was
And
like a
don't be moved.
two-parter, right? And don't be moved.
Right.
But it's going back to 2 weeks because we were supposed to stand in faith.
Stand in faith, exactly.
And last week was and don't be moved.
Right.
I like how you broke that though, by the way. I meant to tell you that.
Thank you. That's all spirit right there. That was not me. Right. I don't think any of them ever are, if I could be honest.
Right. Yeah.
This week, it might sound familiar, but it's not, it's don't leave too soon. Okay. It hit me this way because we get very impatient. I feel like there's always a benchmark that we want to exceed. But once we've exceeded that benchmark, anything else is like fair game. So you think about different situations in your life, where you've wanted to increase your patience, right? So I'm going to take a very popular example, a diet. All right, I want to lose 20 pounds. How am I going to lose this 20 pounds? Well, I'm not going to eat sugar, right? I'm going to cut sugar out because for many of us, that's a problem. Right? I'm going to cut out sugar. I'm going to go on a sugar fast, a sugar detox. The last time I made it 14 days. Well, we set the mark so low too, right? Like, we just be like, this time if I can make it to the 15th day, I'm gonna be real happy with myself. We don't say I want to go 2 more months, right? Just to be just 1 more day past the 14, and I think I've done well. So for what, I think we sell ourselves short. That's the first thing. We kind of underestimate ourselves a lot because we like to be comfortable, but we have these desirable things, we've been praying, and we're like, all right, Lord, I'm sitting. All right, Lord, I'm waiting. And then we get it's probably a whole lot of things, right? Discouraged, we lose the faith, impatience, confused even maybe, right? Like there's, you guys fill in your own personal blank, and then we get up and leave. And the blessing was coming, right? It's in transit. The answer, the solution, whatever, it was coming, but we got up and we left. So don't leave too soon. And how soon is too soon? Until it comes. It's just, if it didn't come, then it's too soon. That's the answer for that. There's no time stamp for that because, the creator doesn't operate in time. I remember I read that scripture in the Bible, but a blink of an eye. And I just remember what? Why would he do that to me? It's time, especially in this country, time is a hot commodity, right? You just what, Lord? Are you serious right now? Yeah. Blink of an eye.
9 years, 9 days, 9 hours. It's
right.
It's all the same.
Just
I got. Those means I got time.
Right.
They got it from God.
Exactly. He got all the time, and we put him on our time schedule. And that's always where we go wrong, because again,
the biggest laugh. Oh, you trying to rush me?
It's like trying to rush a Black mama. I can relate. I can imagine. Black mamas cannot be rushed.
No.
No.
It's so funny. I don't know white mamas, right, intimately enough to be able to answer if it's the same for them. But I know black mamas won't be rushed. Like if you tell your child, come on, let's go, we gotta go. And they're standing by the door waiting, and then you go back upstairs and you do something. They're like, come on, mom. You be like, oh,
Don't rush me.
You find like 25 more things to do just to prove that you will not be rushed. Yeah.
My grandmother didn't drive, right?
Okay.
I never knew my grandmother until my grandfather died, and she went into this whole grief period and decided to renew her license and was like the worst driver ever. But all growing up until that point, she was not a driver. Mm-hmm. And so if my grandfather wasn't driving, my mom was driving. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that I learned early on in life was do not rush the drive, aka my mother. and she would get in her bags and she would be, you cannot rush the driver. I know you're my mother. Like it was a big thing. And the only thing my mother could win, like in terms of the dynamic between her and her mother, like she's like, I'm trying to rush Pat, but I am ready to go. But she wouldn't say it to my mom. It used to be so funny, right? And I feel the same way. Like, you don't be rushing me. I'm gonna bring this April 4 into the conversation. Our special guest tonight, mother author April 4 is quite an incredible. And I read her bio the other day and then again today, and I was just, whoo, child. How we turn, like, and October is infant and pregnancy loss month. And so this is, perfect timing of bringing you on tonight. April endured loss and turned that test of faith into a tremendous testimony. In 2014, at a routine 9-week prenatal screening, she received devastating news that her child had a cystic groma on its neck. And this was an indicator that there would be some chromosome abnormalities. Let April finish that story, but what birthed out of that was, I love how her bio says, a class assignment planted a seed in April to write The Adventures of Egg, which is the acronym for Emma Grace Godwin's, and it's a series of children's books. And so without further ado, I'd like to welcome April 4 to the show tonight. How are you, ma'am?
I am very well. Thank you for having me on your show tonight, Shani. Thank you so much. I am well rested. I'm on vacation in Asheville with my daughter, who you probably will hear in the back, and my sister. So we're just having fun. But yes, I'm very honored and blessed to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. And then if you could, I lost a child, kids about 12 years ago. And, and that birthed everything I do since then, direct reaction or response to that loss. And so, and this show has not, it has always done me in terms of connecting me with people with similar story, or just how they turned their pain into purpose or their test into a testimony. And so you are in that number with, oh my goodness, it's someone else out there that knows and knows what I have felt. And so I would just like you to, if you could take us back to that moment when you, almost 7 years ago, when the second part of your life was birthed, really.
Exactly. Yeah. So just a little backstory. I was a nanny. I had a nanny. I lived in Atlanta. I had a nanny service in Atlanta. I took care of other people's children. I love children. Children was my passion. That was my jam. Like that was my purpose. And so when I found out that I was pregnant, I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my God, I was so happy. I'm gonna have a baby that looks like me, like a me. It wasn't it wasn't anyone else's child, it'd be my child. My parents were very excited. So that day went down for my sister came in town, my friends, they came in town. We went to the doctor's office. This was like the first time that I was going to actually see her. Before then, the ultrasound, it was just like heartbeat. I could hear heartbeat. So we were in the doctor's office, and they took the pictures. This was the appointment for them to, decide if there was any chromosomal abnormalities or anything like that. They were doing all the genetic testing and things like that. So I went, and they gave us the pictures, the little ultrasound pictures and everything. And then we noticed like a little lump on her neck, but like, this is my first child. And I was like, I don't know. And we all know those sonogram ultrasound pictures, they look like aliens. So I was like, I don't know. And so they took us to the room. And so at this time I was telling my sisters, I was like, well, y'all can go ahead and leave. We'll just tell you the results of, the test later, not thinking anything. And so we went back to the doctor's office, and he just had like no expression on his face.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'm still like excited, and he said, well, we found something, something that was off. We found some what did he say? I don't know. He saw something in the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And by that time, my ears just went deaf, because like we saw something wrong. As soon as he said there's something wrong, I just went, deaf. But so he said there's the cystic hygroma, and that is where the lymph nodes continue to swell. They don't drain properly. So then that lets you know, that's an indicator that there might be Turner syndrome. If it was a girl, it would be Turner syndrome. And she would have only had one chance to make it, 1% chance of making it. Or if it wasn't, then it could have been Down syndrome. And I was fine with that. I work with special needs kids. So I was like, it's my child. I don't care. Like, I'm going to be here. This is my baby. And so I had to take a cryotype test where they drain blood from me to check the baby to see if it's a girl or boy. So once they found out, I had to wait like 14 days, very excruciating. Like, you go from
It's a long time.
It's very long. You go from every emotion, like you're hopeful, and then you're just like, why did this happen to me? Like, you're having those conversations with God. I'm like, this is a cruel joke. This is my life. This is all I do is take care of kids. And now something's going on with mine. So you go through that up and down, that roller coaster. So found out and that it was a girl, and that she did in fact have Turner syndrome. So I was like, well, it's my child, it's my baby. I'm going to do what I have to do. It is, it is what it is. But as time progressed, 15% of miscarriages usually are girls with Turner syndrome. So their rate of making is very low. So I said, okay. And Talia, wait, baby. Wait, you have to wait a minute. Okay. Sorry. But so I'm like, okay. She continued to get larger, and it was because she was filling with fluid. So I was going to end up, I know that mentally I would not have been able to handle or recover from a miscarriage. So I went the route of just, speaking with God and coming to terms with that. Like, let me send her back to heaven, because, I wouldn't be able to handle that myself. I know myself. I know what I can mentally. I prayed for it. I prayed over it. It was the toughest decision that I've ever had to do in my life. But he gave me that calm and that peace. Once I went in and I talked with him, he gave me the calm and the peace. And but I made a promise to my daughter and to God, like, if you let me come out of this, I won't let this be in vain. I will bring light to the situation of Turner syndrome, because nobody had heard of it. It's like 2,500 to 4,000 girls that are diagnosed with it that do make it to birth, And so I said, I'll be that vessel. I didn't know at that time, I didn't know how, but I was like, I will do it. And like she said, like Shani said, so that was 2014. I went to school, finished school because of her. I was like, okay, I want to be the best mommy, you know, like even though I didn't have her, kids changed you, and she definitely changed me. She made me a finisher. Like I would finish things now because of her, because I feel like she is looking down on me and I wanted to represent her. So I said, okay. And then it was a class assignment to write a children's book. And I was like, okay. And I started just writing it. And then I just, you know, got the A on the project and, you know, put that down. But it was always something like I always wanted to continue to honor her. I didn't want her just to be an afterthought and, or, you know, put her in a closet and not think about her anymore. Like, no, this is my child. I named her. She was my, you know, she was in me. She was part of me. And so in 2019, I was talking with a coworker and we were just like, yeah, you know, we were talking. I work with children, so I'm always reading children's books and you're looking at them like, I could do this. And so I just wrote it. I think I wrote it in maybe a week or so, if that, the first book, and just went from there. And The Adventures of Emma Grace Godwins was born. And I chose the last name for Godwins because God always wins. So I was like, you know, I got to put that in there because he pulled me out, you know. And my process of writing the stories, it's like 5 in the series so far, but I always start with the titles of the book. And so The Adventures of Egg is about things that I think my daughter would have enjoyed, or what I envisioned her life. You know, when you find out that you're pregnant, it's more than just the death of the child, it's the death of the possibilities, the hopes and the dreams that you have. So you're grieving all of that. So while I am writing the story, it's helping me. I feel like she's still a part of me. I feel like she's still here. I'm sharing, you know, these adventures with her. My daughter that I have now, she, you know, she likes to have her hair like her big sister Egg and things like that. So I still get to have that time, that moment with her through writing.
That's
nice.
What a testimony. When you said now I just lost it, but I just felt
being a finisher.
Yes, because I thought of thank you, Mika. How'd you know I was going there? Because I
saw your face light up.
I did, because I thought of the scripture, God is the author and finisher of my faith, right? And a lot of times, you know, I have said this 100 times on the show, so I don't need someone. And you know, half the time, the people that be calling me out are my kids. You say that all the time. I just want to be clear. I don't really have like a whole fan mail of bad mail. It is the commentaries I get from the people that live with me. You always say that. You always tell that story. You say the same thing every Monday. They keep me humble.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will say this. So for all those that are listening in my house, I say this all the time, and because I believe that I'm freeing somebody every time I say it. That loss of any kind is God's biggest attention getter. I heard it at a eulogy from someone that unexpectedly died, and it was just tragic. But that eulogy was not for the person that went on to glory. The eulogy was for everybody there grieving him. That loss is our biggest attention getter. God sometimes has to get our attention by taking something away from us that we value, that we treasure, right? And so when you said I became a finisher, that spoke to me, because everything I do is so I can finish in the glory of God, so I can see Alexia one day. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. I want to go to heaven. Yeah. Right? Like, I want to go to heaven, and I want to go to heaven empty. Because I want God to say, "Well done, good and faithful servant.
Mhm.
Not, I don't want to be having a conversation with God, be like, I remember when I told you to do that.
Yeah.
What happened there? Like, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I feel like in my mind, that's what would happen. Like when we're disobedient, like we got to answer to God at some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Shani, back 2017, I told you that. What happened? What happened with that? I told you to call that person and apologize. What happened to that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because somebody is stuck in their mess and in their brokenness because we haven't been obedient.
Mhm.
We haven't done what God is calling us to do.
Yeah.
So that's why that thing spoke to me. I'm about to preach now. So you said the book is so the first book is already out, but then you have is part 2
So
coming out, or
There's 2 books out. The first book is Egg Gets a New Friend. So it's like an introduction to the character Egg, to Turner syndrome. You know, she gets orthotics in this. She makes a friend. Orthotics, a lot of the girls with Turner's, they'll have like problems with the feet. So she gets orthotics and she makes a friend out of, a girl that she didn't like. So that's the butterfly. Girls that have Turners, they're called butterflies. So they're in like Girl Scouts, but they're called the butterflies.
Okay.
So she makes she makes a friend with this girl named Evie. And then in the second book, it's called Egg Gets New Ears. Girls with Turner syndrome, they have problems hearing, so they often have to get hearing aids. So she gets hearing aids in this book. And in the third book is Egg, the one that I'm working on now. So that'll be coming out in February of 2022. Wait, baby. So in the third book, it's called Egg Gets a Promotion, because in the first 2 books, her mom is pregnant. I'm pregnant with my daughter, Talia. And she's standing over here like, yeah, it's me. But okay, all right. Okay. So I'm pregnant with Talia. So in the third book, she'll get a promotion. She'll get promoted to big sister, and then we'll go through that. And then there'll be another book. The fourth book will be Egg Gets a Zipper. A lot of girls that have Turners have problems with their heart, and they have to have I know, baby. They have to have heart surgery, and it looks like a zipper. So she'll get a zipper. And then the 5th book, she'll save Christmas. It'll be like a Christmas book or whatever. But yeah, so that's what the books are about. And I wanted what made me start writing the book, or like really focus on doing the adventures of Eggs, because when I was trying to do research about Turner syndrome, I didn't see any books. You don't see any books. So if you don't see it, you have to create it. If you don't, you have to do it. And so I said, well, I wanted a little girl that looked like me. If my daughter wants to go look at a book, I want her to be able to see herself. So I created it. And in the book, it has us African Americans in strong positions, the doctors and things like that. So I wanted to have that.
That was important.
Yeah,
it's very important. Representation matters.
Yes, it really does.
And I wanted to other little girls that have Turner syndrome to know, hey, it's okay. This Egg is doing things that, that I can do, and I'm doing things that Egg's doing. I don't want them to think just because you have your hearing aid that stops you from doing anything. No. So that was my purpose of writing the books. I wanted people that look like me to see themselves in the book. And I also wanted to bring light and shed light. And I wanted to shed light on the Turner syndrome, because a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that, April? Like, what is it? Is it just something that happens? Is it prevalent in our community, or is it just like
it is a very rare condition.
Okay.
It is there's nothing, when I went to the doctor, his bedside manner was trash. He was like, well, did you get your feet rubbed every night? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? And he was like, exactly. Nothing could have stopped this from happening. And I was like, you were just telling me like some devastating news. I don't need this, you know. I didn't like that. So that was in itself, I was like, okay, this
That's
is horrible.
awful.
Yeah, it was just horrible. And I'm like, I understand that you might tell people and you might deliver this news to people every day, but this is my first child. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. So he needed to work on that. But that was the only time I ever met with that doctor. So I don't even remember his name. So I was thankful for that. But it's nothing that, you know, it doesn't come from the parents. It's not genetics. It just happens. Very rare. And because I took genetic testing afterwards. But it was, you know, nothing that came from the father, nothing that came from me. And they say that it doesn't happen twice. Like if a woman is, you know, pregnant, like it won't occur again. Not saying that it won't, but like it's very unlikely that it will. And when the girls do get here, the 1% that do make it, it's like a spectrum. Some girls can have mosaic Turners where you can't tell that they have, other than, you know, they're short in stature, or some of them aren't, you know, but they can't, they don't reproduce, so they won't be able to get pregnant naturally. Yeah, so they won't be able to reproduce. They short in stature, without hormones they would get to 4'8". So a lot of them do take hormone injections to grow, you know, taller. They might have webbed necks. Sometimes they'll have webbed necks as like an outer appearance, because when the cystic hygroma is growing, it's filling up with fluid, and then once they, you know, they have the child, then it will dissolve, and then that's the neck is left like that. Some of them have yeah, some of them have moles on their face, low setting ears, things like that, hard of hearing. So it's just, and some women aren't diagnosed until they're like 18. Like it's like now they're doing testing early, like how I was, but I've met with a few women and support groups and things, and they didn't know that Talia, please stop. They didn't know that they had it until, you know, they were well up in age. So they are definitely making great strides in identifying and, you know, learning about it and getting the information out to the parents, things about Turner syndrome. But I had never heard of it.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing of it as well.
Yeah.
So what is the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself in this journey?
Oh, wait, Shani went out. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, that was such a good question. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right. I think I remember it.
It's not on your end.
It's not?
Go ahead.
Oh, what is the biggest thing you learned about yourself in this journey?
That I can do it. Like, you know, you don't think about it. Like, you know, I didn't think I could be a children's book author. Like it was, you know, once I got into it, I didn't think that I would publish something. I didn't think that I would do this, and that people would read something that I wrote, or they would identify with something that I wrote. They would share it with, you know, oh, you know, I had a student at school that had this, or one of my old teachers, she was like, my granddaughter, she has hearing aids, and she shared the book with that. So I didn't think that I would ever be this person that would share things with others, you know, that something that I created would help other people. I didn't think that. So I've learned that like I can do things. Like I am a helper. Like I've helped, what I've created has helped someone. And I didn't ever think that I could do that. And then it was like, you're stronger than you think you are. Sometimes you learn that, like, wow, like I didn't think I could be able to handle it. And we always say that, like, oh God, if that ever happened, I would not know what to do.
Right.
But then when you're thrown into it, you learn what to do. You're like, okay, well, I can't drown in this. I'm going to have to propel myself to another level to get out of this. And then you learn different ways to get out of it. Like I didn't know that writing was ever going to be in me or anything like that, but it really helped me. It helped me get to where I am now. So I never thought that I would be here. So I just I guess I learned just to have faith and trust, trust in God, of course, but believe in myself more.
Yeah, I just want to take the minute. I'm looking at the chat. Spicy, shout out to Spicy, Spider, shout out to Brian listening to the show. So Spicy is an author. She lost her son. But her comments are resonating because she says, this is why I love this show, because she says, I'm nervous about doing a children's book, but I'm going to challenge myself after I publish the second book of mine. And I think this is why we do this show. We do this show for people to know that ordinary people are just pushed into situations that only God can bring them through and out of, to find a purpose. And you probably didn't even know, April, that you were gonna come on this show and get somebody all the way in Texas to for her to finish her children's book. Like, that's the connection. That is the fabric of being. I just love God. I love y'all. I don't even know what to say right now, because it's like we're having a God moment right now, right? And she's like, and then she said, hearing her inspires me even more. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just so education, sometimes it's educational too, because, we just don't know what we don't know. Like, I shared that today. And I love that. And I'm so glad you lifted that up, because I had actually highlighted that in your bio about, if you don't see it, create it.
Yeah.
And we're all creatives here, right? Everybody listening is creatives. Everybody on this Zoom we're all creatives. And, we get, I don't know about you, but my creative energy feeds off other people. I need to be around other creatives.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It just gives me, I don't get intimidated. I get inspired and excited, right? Yeah. That's why, and, because I love so Mika, pause. You're almost a doctor. What is the study of humans? Is that psychology, or is psychology just the study of human brain? But just to study human, is that sociology?
You mean when you say human, I don't know, I'm probably going to overanalyze this.
Yeah, of course, you always
behavior?
Do. Yes.
Human behavior?
Human behavior. Is that psychology, or is that more like sociology?
No.
Because sociology
not sociology. About
the system.
Right. Yeah, not sociology. And then you also have anthropology.
There's so many people that major in anthropology.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to major in.
Okay, pause, because I'm gonna tell you what I thought it was all these years. No, you go first.
What?
I almost seemed stupid.
It's no such thing.
Okay, I thought okay, what is anthropology?
Bones? Did you think it was bones?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Because so it's it depends, because there's different. So mine was going to be anthropology and counseling. So understanding
anthropology.
It's like the understanding of human behavior, where it came from, right? How it has been influenced over the time of man, I guess.
I want to study
that. So I think it's a big field, but sometimes depending on who you are and what you want to do with it, you might feel a little stuck. I didn't know where else I would be able to go with it, other than being a professor. I just don't see myself only in academia, right? I want to do things. I like experimentation. I like, research. I like being in the field, that type of stuff. So I didn't know enough people, to just pick their brain a little bit, so how do you like this? And what do you do? Are you only a professor? I don't want to say only, are you professoring, or do you have other things that you do? Because I feel like for me personally, I might just be I went to school all these years just to be a professor. For me, that's not where it ends.
Right.
I want to contribute to research areas.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wish I had Googled. wait a minute. They have Google. Pause. When did Google? How old is Google?
I don't know.
Google wasn't around in 92, was it?
I don't think so.
No,
Yeah, I don't think so either, because that's when I was headed.
23 years, 1998.
See, I was finished. Did you get on Google?
Yes, I did.
I thank you. Mika, do you have questions for? Okay.
No.
I meant to go back. Let me
I'm
go
just
back.
listening because I love learning. So
yes.
I've heard of Turner. I didn't know what it was. But when you said like, the girls that have this chromosomal thing have Turner's, otherwise it's Down syndrome, like all that. I love stuff like that. So yeah. So we're getting it wrong if there is a female that looks like they have Down syndrome. You don't call it Down syndrome. It's
no, it's definitely it's two different.
Okay.
Got it. They just knew that like the genetic makeup of her,
understood,
it would have been Turner's. Like she could have been a girl with Down syndrome, but it was Turner's. Yeah.
Got it.
And April, where can people get a copy and purchase the book? And how can they get on like a coming soon list, if you might have that for the new book?
So they can go on Amazon because everything's on Amazon. So they can look on Amazon, The Adventures of the Egg, Emma Grace Skylands. They can look up my name, which is easier to find, but it's April L.J. Fore. Both books are there. Our website is www.theeggstories.com. They can go on there. We'll update that with information of coming soon. And Instagram is on Instagram, the same name, theeggstories.com. We're on Facebook, The Adventures of Egg. And yeah, I believe that's it. And so February, the new book will be coming out. And there's also an egg doll that will be coming out. So I'm really excited about that. A little reading buddy. So I'm really excited about that.
I love merch, y'all. I love yes. And you can get that. You can get that on your website.
You can get that on the website as well.
Awesome. April, I thank you again. And and what's your daughter's name? I want to thank her too. I want to thank her too for letting us share you tonight.
Yeah.
Can you recap? Can you give us a quick recap on what our Wellness Whisper is for the week?
Yes, it's don't leave too soon.
Don't leave too soon. That thing is loaded, child.
Yeah. I like that.
Because I mean,
yeah, because I'm quick to, all right.
I mean, I used to be so, back when I was.
Yeah, I think sometimes we feel like we're creating when it comes to like a piece, right? I'm out. I think sometimes we do feel like we are creating a healthy boundary. Like when we write people off, when it's like, you know what, I ain't got time for that. But you can still leave too soon. Like, are you getting the lesson out of that? And many times the answer is no.
Yeah.
Many times the answer is no.
Okay, I'm gonna save my questions for next week because I think it'll be helpful. But yeah. Yes. I'm gonna sit in that.
Okay. That's important.
Don't leave too soon.
Right. That's important too. Just let it marinate for a little bit.
Marinate.
Yeah.
We are almost finished, y'all. We have left for the month of October. So next week our special guest will be Taki Jones. She's a poet and she will be on, and we are excited. Hopefully she'll spit some bars. Mika, get ready. Mika's a rapper and a poet and all those things.
When you I can do the freestyle poetry. The freestyle rapping makes me nervous. I have not flexed that muscle in so long.
I mean,
Poetry, I'm on it.
Yes. So, I mean, I feel like, Taki might want some, she might not want to go by herself. So, just be ready, just be on. And
I'll be ready.
I don't know if y'all knew this, but apparently yesterday or Saturday was National Black Poet Day.
No,
did you know that
one? Mm-hmm.
Yes. I should have shout out all my poets that I know.
That's dope.
Isn't it?
I like that.
Yeah. The Share with Shani Show. Thank you so much, April, for coming on. The Share with Shani Show highlights ordinary people working for an extraordinary God, sharing love, light, and life. And I'm gonna get spicy on the show for 2022. I've been trying to get her on for like 6 years. She didn't know I wanted her on. I love you, Spicy. We have the same publisher.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you
so guys.
Much. Thank you for enlightening us, educating us, and just why did somebody make? We got an angry face on my live. I don't understand.
It's okay.
It's all good. Okay. It's probably somebody I don't even know. Share with Shani Show highlights ordinary people working for an extraordinary God, sharing love, light, and life, airing every Monday night at 8 p.m. We've got probably like 10 shows left before the end of the year. But 2022 is wide open. So book your slot.
That doesn't sound like a lot. 10 shows.
That's
what I felt like.
Right.
2021 is gonna be over soon.
Thank you. God bless you and peace.
Thank you. Bye.